This week, the world held its breath. From the trading floors of Wall Street to the fog-filled skies over Beijing, a chain of powerful events sent shockwaves through global politics, economics, and even the environment. In today's deep dive, we unravel the 5 biggest stories shaking the foundations of our global order. This is Nexusfeed. Thank you for joining us. The new Cold War US-China trade clash deepens. On Monday, the Trump administration made its boldest move yet in the ongoing trade standoff with China. A sweeping 145% tariff slapped on virtually all Chinese imports. From electronics to raw materials, nothing was spared. It wasn't until late in the weekend that he made a U-turn by announcing exemptions for smartphones and computers. Within hours of Trump's initial sweeping tariff announcement, Beijing struck back. A retaliatory tariff package that raised duties on U.S. exports up to 125%. Soybeans, semiconductors, even cars, all targeted. This isn't just a tariff war, it's a chess match with the global economy as the board. And the markets? They didn't take it well. The S&P 500 suffered its steepest 2-day plunge since the COVID crash of March 2020. Investors scrambled to move money out of equities and into gold and commodities. Treasury bond yields spiked, a sign that even the once reliable U.S. government debt is starting to look shaky. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink didn't mince words. He said the tariffs were beyond anything he could have imagined, warning they might tip the U.S. into a full-blown recession. That's a stunning admission from one of the world's most influential financial voices, but it echoes what many analysts are now whispering. Has America crossed an economic Rubicon? Is this a new Cold War, this time fought with tariffs instead of tanks? Trade wars have consequences, and this time, no one is immune. The EU strikes back, digital taxes in the crosshairs. While the US and China battle it out, Europe isn't staying on the sidelines. Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, delivered a warning shot to Washington. She said if trade talks collapse, the EU will consider imposing sweeping digital taxes on American tech giants. Think Google, Meta, Amazon. For years, the EU has complained that US tech firms generate billions in European markets while paying only modest taxes. Now Europe is ready to act. The proposed plan? A levy on digital advertising revenue, the lifeblood of social media platforms and search engines. But this is more than just a tax. It's leverage, economic warfare by another name. The timing is key. As American tariffs escalate, Europe is signaling its willingness to retaliate in kind, not with steel or soybeans, but with servers and search engines. If implemented, these taxes could drain billions from Silicon Valley's balance sheets, but they could also ignite a broader rift between the US and its traditional allies. Is the West beginning to fracture from within? Gold fever, the new safe haven surge. In uncertain times, humanity turns to the oldest form of security, gold. And right now, gold is having a moment. This week, prices shattered records, hitting an all-time high of $3,243 per ounce, a figure that just a year ago would have seemed impossible. Why the spike? It's simple. Fear. With trade wars raging and confidence in currencies dwindling, gold is once again king. In China, the demand is so intense that physical gold premiums surged, far above international prices. The People's Bank of China continues to stockpile reserves, while Beijing greenlit new regulations allowing insurance companies to invest directly in bullion. The message is clear. In a world where nothing feels stable, not stocks, not bonds, not even fiat currency, gold is the last anchor. But gold's rise also signals a deeper anxiety, that the world's economic order is becoming increasingly fragile. And in the silence between market crashes, that fear echoes. The Tehran Gambit, US-Iran nuclear talks resume. Amid economic battles, another high-stakes conflict is quietly unfolding in the Middle East. This week, US and Iranian officials met in Oman, reviving talks around Iran's nuclear program. It's the first high-level engagement in over a year. Both sides insist they're open to compromise. But under the surface, the tensions run deep. President Trump, never one to shy away from escalation, made his stance crystal clear. He said if diplomacy fails, military action is absolutely on the table. Iran, meanwhile, has expanded its uranium enrichment and continues to develop long-range missile capabilities. Its leadership insists it's not pursuing nuclear weapons, but few in Washington are buying it. So here we are again, a familiar script with unfamiliar stakes. With Israel watching closely and regional tensions high, the return to the negotiation table feels both necessary and perilously fragile. The question now is whether peace is possible, or whether the Middle East is once again heading toward the brink. Beijing chokes, climate crisis hits China's capital, and then, nature reminded us of its own power. This week, Beijing was smothered by a ferocious sandstorm, plunging the city into darkness and grounding hundreds of flights. High winds tore through neighborhoods, damaging vehicles and homes. Public parks were shuttered. Air quality? Off the charts, in the wrong direction. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's here, it's tangible, and it's rewriting the script of daily life, especially in cities like Beijing that already wrestle with pollution and population density. But this storm also raises deeper questions. How do we build cities that can withstand environmental extremes? How do governments balance economic growth with environmental protection? And perhaps most urgently, how much more warning do we need? This week, we witnessed a world teetering on the edge, economically, diplomatically, and environmentally. A trade war between superpowers threatening global stability. An alliance, the West, possibly fracturing under economic strain. Markets in panic, safe havens spiking, diplomats scrambling, and nature roaring in the background. We are not just observing history, we are living through an era of profound transformation. And if this week taught us anything, it's this. The systems we've relied on, political, financial, even climatic, are more fragile than we think. But the future? That's still unwritten. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss next week's edition of Global News Roundup. Drop your thoughts in the comments too. Which of these stories do you think will define the next decade? Let's talk about it. This is Nexusfeed, and we believe in decoding the chaos.